All right, WordPress security. This is another thing that I want to tell you about. WordPress is open source, meaning anyone can develop for it. You can develop for it right now. I've developed for it. You might have even already done it. That means it's open to hackers like crazy. The reason why WordPress updates their plugins and their themes so often, or the actual framework of WordPress, is because hackers have found a way to bust into it and ruin your life. Maybe not your life, but in some cases it really can screw things up. And I've had my blog come down and been hacked by, Moroccan Masterman or whatever, crazy stuff. And they're usually warnings, but it just shows that your site is vulnerable because you're using WordPress or an outdated version of WordPress. So it's important that you make sure to take measures to ensure your security. Even more specifically, your client's security. You don't want to be caught with your pants down when your client calls you and says, "Hey, my website looked hacked. Who's Moroccan hacker man?" Or why is my site why is my screen black? Or why do I have like a weird devil face on my website? This is totally unprofessional. What the hell did you do? I've had my clients call me with similar calls, maybe not so dramatic, but yes, they've said, "I'm hacked. What do I do?" And I want to tell you how you can prevent that as best as possible using free and paid options. And there are a lot of free options out there, so don't worry, you don't have to pay to get good security. All right, plugins. That's the way you're going to want to start to do it. You can go to your plugins, but maybe before we jump into plugins, the number one most important way to secure your site, your WordPress site, is keep your WordPress installation up to date, keep your plugins up to date. So I can see here that I have 3 plugins out of date. I can go ahead and just click Update Now, or I can select all of them, bulk actions, update, apply. All my plugins are now up to date. And then that's hopefully removed any easy loopholes for the hackers. Looks like our WordPress theme and our installation of WordPress is up to date, but you'll get a notification. It's very obvious. It says update your version of WordPress. That's important. The other thing you want to do is make sure you back up your site. Easy plugins for that. I'm going to show you plugins here. Add new plugins right here. I'm going to say back WP up, back whoop up, back WordPress up free. Install that. What that's going to do is give you a free solution to back up your site on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, or whatever you want. So activate the plugin. You'll be getting an extra tool option down here. Back WordPress up. You can go to your dashboard and you can create a new backup job. So let's go to add a new backup job. And basically you could just choose, you want to back up the database, you want to back up, XML, export database and tables. Then you can choose the database backup. You could choose which files you want to back up or exclude. So if I didn't want to back up the content folder or the plugins folder, you can include or exclude that, save your changes. And once you've done that, you schedule your backup manually, or I like using WordPress cron, and then you could schedule. I usually do something like weekly or monthly, depending on the site, or daily at 3 a.m. in the morning, save changes, bam, every day at 3 a.m. in the morning, your website is backed up. In case something happens, you have a fresh install and backup of your site, usually hosted on your server. And then you could choose that setting here, depending on where you want it to save the backup. So where do you want to store your backup? Folder, email, FTP, Dropbox, S3 service, Rackspace, SugarSync, any of that sort of stuff. Great stuff. And other things you want to do is make sure you have things like limit login attempts. That's another important one I like to install. Limit login attempts. That plugin basically limits the login attempts, which happens really frequently, because they usually have bots. The hackers send out bots to try and hack into WordPress sites. If they find out your WordPress site, they'll try and brute force their way into your site. And that just means they keep trying passwords and passwords and passwords until they get in. And limit login attempts basically limits how many times a certain IP address can log in, effectively removing their ability to brute force via your login screen. So I would install that and get that set up. You could play around with the settings. It's pretty straightforward. Now, you can also go just to the keyword. I'm just going to say security. And it'll give you a whole bunch of different options here. Bulletproof security, word fence, Sakuri, which is another one I'm going to talk about. This is a free plugin, and it lets you monitor who's logging in, malware detection, all that sort of stuff. That's important to do. And that's what brings me to the next thing I want to talk about. The premium security solution I like using is Sakuri. Now, they have a free plugin, but they also have an actual website. That's sakuri.net. And there's a subscription service you could pay for using the antivirus or the firewall. Pricing, it seems quite steep, and in some cases, yeah, it is. $18 a month. It might not be for you, but that's okay. If you're a web developer and you actually have a freelance company going with a couple clients, what I always do is I sell my clients on these packages, and I'll just mark them up just a little bit because I'll manage them myself. So, I'm okay. I actually am paying $500 a year, or about $42 a month. And I have a whole bunch of sites a whole bunch of my clients. I'm using them. They've signed up for my security package where I manually make sure everything's secure, and I incorporate Sakuri in that as well. That pays for my expenses. And so that's how I can afford to use Sakuri, their paid version. Otherwise, you can go ahead and just install their free plugin, which checks for malware and lets you know. And then you might want to subscribe to remove that malware. And so I like using Sakuri. I am an affiliate for Sakuri. You don't have to use my affiliate link. Otherwise, if you do, if you're feeling extra kind, bradhussey.ca/Sakuri, and that will take you to the Sakuri homepage. Let them know, hey, your bro Brad sent you there, and we'll give them a couple bucks for signing up. No cost to you. That's how affiliate links work. You'll never get charged extra for being a nice guy or a nice gal. And that's how that works. So that's security. I'd play around with that, do a little bit of research. But those few things that I mentioned, that's really, really going to help you get yourself up and running and secure your website.